I just walked out of the theater from watching the third installment to Paramount's Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and I'm not even going to waste any breath. Sonic 3 is my favorite movie of the year. It's been decided. I've seen a lot of movies this year, some really great, some really not great. I also saw Borderlands. This whole year in general has just been a big mixing pot of meh. But if there had to be a masterpiece to finish off the year, it would be this movie. This is the first real movie review on my channel, so it's probably going to bomb for various reasons. But if you like the way I review stuff, then you should probably help by dropping a like. Thank you guys so much for 9,000 subscribers, by the way. But the way I'm going to do these reviews is discuss the film spoiler-free, with one short section dedicated to more specific, spoilerly aspects, which I'll make explicitly clear. Without further ado, let's get into it and go fast. I probably should have rehearsed that earlier. The first thing going into this movie I was extremely worried about was what I like to call the James Gunn syndrome. What I mean by that is you have a movie that wants to be incredibly funny but also incredibly serious at the same time. A movie that'll switch rapidly between lovable characters dying and goofy slapstick humor in a matter of seconds. While James Gunn didn't exactly direct Sonic 3, it was obvious that Shadow was going to have a tragic backstory. And yeah, he does have a tragic backstory. And I was worried that Sonic 3 would mix the serious tone of Shadow with the usual quippy jokes littered throughout the first two movies. And I was worried that Shadow's moments would get overshadowed. But right from the beginning, the first time Shadow is introduced, you know this movie doesn't fuck around. When Shadow is doing his thing, the film does not try to undermine him as a character. The jokes are all held back, and Shadow is given every moment he needs to shine. Speaking of Shadow, great villain, and a great character in general. I'm not getting into his backstory, but the movie takes a lot more time than I expected to let you learn about Shadow as a character, because he is a character. He's not just a one-off generic emo kid Sonic who does evil things because he's evil. He's damaged and he's hurt, and he and Sonic have really great chemistry throughout the entire movie. Another thing that really surprised me was none other than Gerald Robotnik, the grandfather of the Robotnik we've come to know in the first two movies. This film takes him just as seriously as Shadow. He's not just a goofy doppelganger. There's this subtle thing that I really appreciate about Gerald Robotnik, in that the movie uses these funny one-liners and interactions to make the two Robotniks look like they're the same, but you can always feel the subtle differences underneath, how in reality, they're definitely not the same. Gerald Robotnik turned out to be a way more realistic character than I would have ever expected from a Sonic movie. As for the visuals, it's not even a question. Sonic 3 has the best visuals in the entire franchise. The action scenes are on point, they're super easy to follow, and every single punch carries so much weight. Shadow's abilities are used to the fullest extent, and this movie has some of the best live-action CGI blending I've ever seen. As for the plot, I can't say much, but I will say that the script is undoubtedly the best of the three movies. Every character has something to do, no characters overshadow the other, and unlike the second movie where there's this weird out-of-place 20-minute tangent about these human characters nobody gave a shit about, this movie stayed completely focused from beginning to end. Every scene built significantly on the characters, plot, and the overall theme of the story. And without using any spoilers, the best part of the story this time around is the amount of setup and payoff in this movie. Not the kind that's blatantly in your face about it being important later, like the whole acid thing in Venom 3, but it's more things that'll make you think at first, oh, that was a bit of lazy writing, to, oh, that was actually meant for something. Okay, in order to explain what I actually mean, this is where I'm going to use my one-time free trial spoiler section. So if you haven't seen the movie, watch it now or skip to this time frame to avoid getting spoilered. 3, 2, 1... Luna. So like I said, the script is put so well together that it'll make the audience slightly lose faith in the writing, but then it'll use that plot element later in a way that makes a lot of sense. The first thing that confused me in this movie was the black hole grenade, which is right after the main heroes uncovered the villain's plan of trying to destroy the gun facility. So I thought, why go through all that elaborate trouble to destroy the gun facility with this random death ray machine when you can literally use one of those black hole grenades to do the exact same damage? Oh! It's because the real plan is to destroy the entire planet, so the black hole grenade wouldn't actually work. Okay, so they're only bringing up this emerald gem from the last movie to do some lazy patchwork and make up a vague excuse of consequences so that the audience can't complain that's not in the movie. Oh! So it actually does get used, and in a way that's better than the second movie. Go figure. These gravity floors were supposed to stop Sonic, and then he escaped anyway. That's just lazy writing. No! The green floors were designed to stop Sonic, and the red floors were designed to stop people. And because Sonic eventually moved his way onto a red floor, That's how he was able to escape. You're telling me that gun built a machine capable of destroying the planet? That's ridiculous. No, they built it to destroy only a small piece of land, and then General Robotnik utilized Shadow's power shown at the beginning of the movie to amplify the death ray. And this one detail that I just mentioned is my favorite because it really solidifies the true difference between the Robotnik we know and the older version. The movie isn't trying to draw connections between young Robotnik and Gerald, it's trying to draw connections between Gerald and Shadow. Shadow eventually learns to overcome his grief and desire for revenge and let Maria live on in his heart, but Gerald wants the world to go down with her. This movie at its core is all about grief and how different people process it in their own ways. It shows the true consequences of vengeance and the willpower it takes to move on and forgive. And the real reason I think this movie deserves such high praise is because it's not only incredibly ambitious, but it's incredibly ambitious to expand its audience, to include bigger themes that only adults can really understand and relate to, rather than just be a turn off your brain buddy road trip with Fortnite references. Guys, overall, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is a masterclass in entertainment, a visual spectacle for the eyes, and a plot so well crafted that I was locked in from beginning to end. Lots of twists, lots of emotion, lots of setup and payoff, and really, it was a film made by people who respected everything the video games stand for. I'm giving Sonic the Hedgehog 3 an 8.5 out of 10, and with that being said, I'll see y'all later.